How much caffeine do you drink? Is caffeine even safe? Is it dangerous? Stay tuned and find out. Coffee and tea are the most consumed, socially accepted stimulants in the world. This is crazy, but about 90% of all adults in the world drink some form of caffeine. I want to give you a couple quick, interesting facts about coffee. Coffee is only grown in 2 states in the United States, California and Hawaii. And 1 cup of coffee, black coffee, has 1 single calorie. Do you know which country has the biggest coffee lovers? Finland. On average, each person consumes about 27.5 pounds of coffee. Alright, so back to my original question. How much caffeine do you drink? Well, if you know how much caffeine is in your favorite caffeinated beverage or beverages, then you can calculate how much caffeine you intake on a daily basis. And at the end of this video, I'm going to let you know if that amount is actually safe. So an 8-ounce cup of black brewed coffee has about 150 milligrams of caffeine. 8 ounces of instant coffee, which is what I actually drink, has about 90 milligrams of caffeine. Tea usually contains less caffeine than coffee, so 8 ounces of brewed tea, about 50 milligrams of caffeine. So what about soft drinks? A lot of us get our caffeine from soft drinks. 12-ounce can of Coke, 45 milligrams of caffeine. 12 ounces of Mountain Dew, 54 milligrams of caffeine. 12 ounces of Pepsi, 37 milligrams of caffeine. And then we have Sprite, Sierra Mist, 7-Up. All of these have no caffeine, 0. And nowadays more and more people are turning to energy drinks to get their caffeine kick. 12-ounce can of Red Bull, 113 milligrams of caffeine. 16 ounces of Monster Energy drink, 160 milligrams of caffeine. Rockstar Energy, 16-ounce can, also 160 milligrams of caffeine. 2 ounces of 5-Hour Energy drink, a whopping 200 milligrams of caffeine. So add up all the caffeine that you drink on a daily basis, and at the end of this video, I'll tell you if that's a safe amount. So I'm gonna add up all the caffeine that I drink on a daily basis, and I'll let you know exactly how much that is, and also if it's safe. Before I forget, if you like this video, if you like this content, if you like the way that I present it, hit the like button, or better yet, subscribe. Let's talk about the short-term benefits of caffeine. This is why we drink it, right? It gives us pep in our step. It improves our mental alertness, mental performance, also improves your mood. It also does help us overcome some of the negative effects of sleep deprivation and even jet lag. Back in the dark ages when I was in medical school and residency, basically everyone took in some form of caffeine. If you had just pulled an all-nighter in residency studying, and the following morning you had to be mentally sharp because you knew that the attending physician was going to pimp you in front of your fellow interns and residents, caffeine was your best friend. For those of you who are not familiar with the term getting pimped, here's the official definition. Pimping is a method in which unanswerable questions are used to humiliate and maintain the teacher's hierarchy and even domination over the learner. Caffeine does improve athletic performance. It's very well documented that it does benefit athletic endurance performance. And also, to a lesser degree, it does help improve short-term, high-intensity athletic performance. So what about the long-term benefits of caffeine? Reduced risk of Parkinson's disease. Also, and a lot of people don't realize this, a reduced risk of type 2 diabetes. There's been many studies confirming this. There have also been studies confirming that a moderate amount of caffeine intake from coffee or tea does actually decrease your risk of having a heart attack. And with regards to mortality, and this is what we care about, right? What is its effect on our mortality? This is kind of a touchy subject. Not a whole lot of people want to broach this. But more studies than not, many more studies than not, powerful studies have shown that a moderate amount of caffeine intake decreases mortality. Those are the facts. So what about the negative effects of caffeine? Well, most of the short-term negative effects that we see from caffeine are usually from people who are not daily caffeine drinkers. So for whatever reason, these people decide to intake a whole bunch of caffeine, whether it's to study for a test or they have to perform some certain task. These are the people who tend to get in trouble. We usually don't see these in daily caffeine drinkers. So these side effects include tremors, agitation, diarrhea. Sometimes they're actually a lot more severe than this. We're talking about hallucinations, seizures, arrhythmias. What about blood pressure? It can raise your blood pressure slightly, temporarily. And again, usually this is seen in non-daily caffeine drinkers. Acid reflux. Caffeine definitely does have a negative effect on acid reflux. So why is this? Well, there's already acid in your stomach, hydrochloric acid, very, very powerful acid. On top of that, caffeine can weaken your lower esophageal sphincter, which can lead to a backwards flow of the acid. However, there is a possible solution to this. You can switch to a dark roast, which is less acidic. You can also drink espresso, which is less acidic. And they also do have low acid coffee brands that are on the market. You might want to try these if you have problems with acid reflux because of caffeine. What about insomnia? Caffeine can make you more prone to insomnia for sure. Caffeine has been shown to interfere with circadian rhythms, thus making it a little bit more difficult to go to sleep, especially if you consume caffeine right before bedtime. However, if you are drinking a couple of cups of coffee in the morning, maybe a cup of coffee at noon, and you cut it off there, you should be okay. It should not affect your sleep. So what about migraines? Studies have shown that people who drink caffeine on a daily basis are going to be more prone to having issues with chronic migraines. It's just a fact. Now, ironically, some of the over-the-counter medications that we use to treat tension headaches, migraines, these contain caffeine. So we're talking about things like Anacin, Excedrin. These contain caffeine. Okay, so here's my daily intake of caffeine. I have 3 rounded teaspoons of instant coffee every morning. And then later in the morning, I have 12 ounces of Red Bull. Total, 385 milligrams of caffeine. Is that safe? So here's my take on caffeine. If you are a relatively healthy person, drinking 400 milligrams or less of caffeine should be safe. And as always, this is my take on the matter. If you have any questions, any concerns regarding whether or not you should drink caffeine or if you're drinking too much caffeine, get in touch with your primary care doctor and discuss this.